For beginners in calisthenics who are new to muscle ups, what are the most important regressions that you should be training? The jumping muscle up plus a negative is an awesome exercise. It really does give you everything that you need with developing your body weight strength, because by jumping, it allows you to learn the technique of pulling in that arc motion, getting through that transition, and getting your dip to the top helps you. But by reversing the movement, eccentrics are helpful with calisthenics because you're building strength in reverse. So by lowering through that dip, controlling that transition through the high pull, lowering down into that dead hang, you're grooving that neurological pattern of the muscle up. But it's much easier because we're stronger in reverse. As a beginner, I really do like this for developing skill, technique, and coordination, because it scales the movement at an intensity that's relevant to you. If you're new to the jumping muscle up, you're going to use your legs a ton to get yourself up and over the bar. Your negative is going to be pretty quick because you lack the strength, but over time, you can use your legs less to get through that jump phase. And then as you lower down with the negative, as you get stronger, you can go slowly. You can capture strength through every degree. So this way, when you're working on your basics at the same time, you're building up your pull-ups, you're working on your dips, you're combining that now with some skill work with this jumping muscle up. It's really going to help. The band muscle up is an underrated tool for developing your technique. And when used correctly, it really is a valuable tool in your toolbox because you're practicing technique, timing, coordination. You've reduced some of your body weight so the muscle up doesn't feel as heavy and as hard. It develops success in beginners. It gives you that feeling of flying. And the real key here is you've got to use band muscle ups properly. Not a huge thick band where you're just bouncing, you can be laughing, chatting to your mate at the same time. Oh man, look, I'm doing a band muscle up. And you're just using the thickest band possible. I want you to use one that challenges you. It should be difficult to do a few reps of that muscle up. It should challenge you in the 3 to 5 rep range. That's the secret there. That's a good reference for you to use with your band muscle ups, because building up strength, the band's not helping too much or too little. For muscle ups, the pull phase, where you're trying to get yourself over the bar, is the most important part of this skill. But what are the best pull-up exercises to increase this attribute? The chest to bar pull-up should be one of your primary exercises in your muscle-up training. It's all about trying to increase power, increase range of motion, so that you're actually able to overcome that transition. The benefit of chest to bar pull-ups is it develops that explosive strength, your rate of force development, how quickly your muscles can generate force and explode. Doing things fast with your pull-ups requires specific training, and the chest to bar pull-up accomplishes this. Interestingly, power training with chest to bar pull-ups actually improves your weighted pull-ups as well, because there's an equation, force equals mass times acceleration. So if you want to improve your force, you can lift heavy weight on a pull-up slowly, or you can lift your body weight very quickly. With chest to bar pull-ups, you're doing your body weight, but you're trying to do that fast. So it helps to improve how much force your body can generate. You're developing power in your back, your lats, your traps, your rotator cuff, doing so explosively for muscle up mastery. Plyometric pull-ups like this build up your joint and tissue resilience so that you can handle the demands of muscle ups. Weighted pull-ups for low reps is one of the most essential things that you should be getting better at if you want to unlock muscle ups, because it's about developing max strength. We're overloading the same pulling pattern, but with more absolute pulling force. You add weight to your body, you're going to unlock this higher threshold of strength. The progressive overload of weighted pull-ups is what makes this exercise shine. You're going to keep the reps low so you can develop strength. Your goal is simple, but it's not easy. Keep adding weight, linear progressive overload. By having a better strength to weight ratio, you're going to improve your relative strength, how easy it is to throw yourself up in a muscle up, because you've built up your absolute strength. Having extra weight on your body, on your pull-ups, being able to do that with 25, 50% of your body weight, progressing towards that. It's going to make yourself feel as light as a feather. The L-sit pull-up is really effective for improving your muscle-ups. Because we're in a hollow body position with our legs extended, it forces you to pull in the correct arc motion. It challenges your lats more. You've got to keep your shoulders depressed. Everything is forced to use correct technique, activate the correct muscles, activate the correct movement pattern. It sucks. L-sit pull-ups are tough because your legs are kept straight, your hip flexors will be screaming. Expect your performance on pull-ups to be reduced by around 50%. So if you can normally do 10 pull-ups as an example, you'll probably be doing 5 L-sit pull-ups and finding that difficult. Just doing bodyweight L-sit pull-ups is going to keep you challenged for a long time because you can go from chin to bar to chest to bar to stomach to bar. Don't worry about adding weight to your L-sit pull-ups. Just focus on doing really high quality reps, fast, big range of motion, and you'll find a nice transfer to your muscle ups. If the L-sit pull-up with completely straight legs is way too difficult for you, you're cramping up, your muscles are spasming, you just want to bend over and cry, then just bend your knees a little bit. It's going to give you most of the same benefits of the L-sit pull-up, but it's going to be a little bit more forgiving on your hip flexors. Over time, do your best to straighten out those legs and do real L-sit pull-ups. Despite muscle-ups being a vertical pull, you're doing pull-ups to get yourself over the bar. You can't neglect your horizontal rowing as well, because this builds balanced strength in your scapula, your rotator cuff, and it assists your body in being well-rounded. If you have a good horizontal pull and a sound vertical pull with your pull-ups, that's a complete picture. Your body's going to be ready for the demands of muscle-ups and anything else you want in calisthenics. When training inverted rows, I recommend doing a pronated grip because this is the most specific to bar muscle-ups. You're also going to be strengthening that semi-false grip, improving your back at the same time. Once your body weight gets too easy and you're repping this out, 15, 20 plus reps without a problem, I recommend adding weight to the exercise. You can do this with a dip belt anchored around your stomach to make more resistance on your back, or you can throw on a weight plate over your chest, stomach to make the exercise harder, or you can throw on a backpack with added weights, strap in and get to work on building up your horizontal pull. My favorite horizontal pull with calisthenics is the front lever row. This is so much more challenging than an inverted row because now your legs are off the ground. You've got to row the full weight of your body. The goal is to keep your body horizontal, your shoulders level with your hips. Start out in the tuck position, keep the legs straight, and your goal here is to bring the chest to the bar. You're trying to contact that, get a full range of motion, and you'll be applying all good front lever mechanics, going down to a straight arm position at the bottom, and then doing your best to get that full ROM touch at the top. This one builds up your lats, it builds up your mid back, unlocks scapular stability, strengthens your abs, as well as your posterior chain. It's getting that bent arm and straight arm strength in a horizontal pull, and you're using your body weight. So it's got great transfer. It's a calisthenics movement to calisthenics muscle ups. If you're serious about making front lever rows as effective as possible, your goal is to try and add pauses. It is brutal. At the bottom, in the hang, pause. At the top, when you're at the peak of the row, try and hold that top position. It is really tough because of the descending strength curve nature. It gets more difficult as you row towards the top, but by adding these top pauses on your front lever rows, it's going to transfer nicely to the transition phase of muscle ups. I can guarantee you that. If these progressions are helpful, Muscle Up Pro, it takes out all the guesswork. Check out our new program on fitnessfaqs.com, top link in the description. Stop guessing, start progressing, and I'll be your calisthenics coach. We can't neglect our pushing strength. The most important exercises you should do include the straight bar dip. With a muscle up, this is the most specific part of the exercise. It's about that transition and then pushing up to get yourself over the bar. Being able to have a deep straight bar dip is really helpful because the more mobility you've got here, the more strength you've got in that deep straight bar dip, the sooner you can overcome the transition phase and press out into the muscle up. The smartest way you can train is to rotate your dipping variations. As good as the parallel bar dip is, the straight bar dip has the best transfer to the muscle up because the exact same movement pattern. This prevents overuse injuries, aches, pains, and it's another form of progressing your dip to keep yourself making those gains. Think about it like this. The muscle up is a combined exercise where you've got that pull transition as well as the dip. If you only ever did muscle ups, you're never going to fully overload that dip part because you're limited by your explosive pulling strength and your ability to get over that transition phase. That's why part practice is so important. That's why we do our straight bar dips. To fatigue, we train them in isolation. So that way, when we go to do the muscle up, it's nothing to us because we've built this surplus of pushing strength. The muscle up is an explosive exercise, so we should be training our pushing in an explosive way to prepare our body. The plyometric push-up is awesome. This one, essentially think of clapping push-ups where you're trying to explode up from the ground, getting as far away from the floor as possible, generating this power, explosiveness from your body alone. We've all seen this online. Someone's showing off doing these explosive push-ups and they're clapping or whatever, and they might as well be standing up because they've just weight shifted all the way to their lower body. When you're doing your plyo push-ups, keep your weight forward. You just want your upper body doing all the work. Plyometric push-ups are best trained for low reps with maximum intent. This is all about quality over quantity. I like to think of plyometric push-ups like sprinting versus jogging. Sprinting is done for high speed, maximum effort, short duration of time. The same thing applies to your plyometric push-ups. You're doing them as fast as you can for a short period of time. Of course, you listening, you can bang out 20 push-ups with ease. Your plyo push-ups, you want to make every rep that you do count. You're trying to push as fast as you can, as high as you can. It is a real different form of training. The carryover of plyometric push-up training is you're going to have smoother muscle-ups, smoother dips, and just be more explosive, period. And people look at the push-up and think, oh, it's too easy. What's the point? I'll just do dips and that's it. You got to train your body in different planes of motion to make it comprehensive. That's why we're going to be including weighted deficit push-ups. After you've done your muscle-up skill work, you've done your pulling, it's time to get into those horizontal push-ups as an accessory. These shine because of the elevated range of motion. You're getting more stretch through your upper body. You combine that with added weight, training relatively close to failure, and you've got a recipe for muscle building. Building up your horizontal press transfers to stronger dips, muscle ups, planches, handstands, handstand push-ups. It is going to assist you and is a perfect accessory. Weighted push-ups are a key horizontal pushing exercise that balances out your dip strength and it reinforces the fundamentals. The parallel bar dip is the squat of the upper body. It is unmatched for progressive overload, challenging your chest, shoulders, and triceps with a closed kinetic chain exercise, and you should be working up to at least 50% of your body weight added for reps. This is going to give you that foundation of strength, this surplus capacity that's going to make muscle ups a breeze. A common mistake when people do weighted dips, they let the weight plate swing around all over the place. The weight is essentially an extension of your body. If you keep this stable underneath you, your center of mass will remain within your base of support with your hands, so you're going to be stronger. Just squeeze that weight plate. This is going to make sure your dip technique is vertical, it's on lock, it's stable, it feels good. You'll perform better and you'll be able to lift more weight on your dips. Why I'm stressing the importance of having a strong, deep dip is because when you're doing muscle ups, if you can get yourself comfortable in the bottom of a dip, your transition is going to be so much easier. You'll be able to push sooner, which means you'll spare your back muscles in the muscle up, which is a really precious thing to do. Pause at the bottom. In that deep stretch, try and get yourself to 90 degrees or even deeper. Hold it for a second and then press out. The more time that we can spend in that deep dip, the better. We're going to enhance our shoulder mobility into extension. We're going to strengthen our body for that ever important transition phase. It really does help your muscle ups. Instead of doing weighted dips where you're just bouncing up and down really, really quickly, you're going to miss out on the adaptations that we want for this skill. Having a strong core is a must if you want muscle ups that look clean and feel strong. Here's the best exercises you should do. The hollow body hold is the fundamental exercise because if we just look at the posture of our body during this skill, we need to keep our body hollow. We need to engage our abs. We need to keep our ribs down. And doing this in a muscle up is no easy feat because we've got the dynamic demands of the exercise. We're swinging around. We're combining it with a pull-up. So if our core is not strong enough to keep our posture on point, we're going to be wasting energy. We're going to be losing tension. And for many beginners, they can't do a muscle up because their core strength is letting them down. It's a bottleneck. Once you can do hollow body holds statically, no problem, 30, 60 seconds, move on to the hollow body rock. With this one, you're essentially adding in movement. You're making your body like a seesaw whilst you maintain that hollow body. It's all about having enough core strength to resist yourself from arching. Hollow body rocks, they closely match what's happening with a muscle up. There's movement. There's all of these things trying to stop you from holding that core position. And your body will adapt to the dynamic environment when there's movement in the mix. The final hollow body progression is the V-up. You're going to try and snap up using your hip flexors and you're going to touch your shins. Going back and forth is really challenging because now you got speed, you got movement, and it's going to burn your abs. You're essentially combining a hanging leg raise with a hollow body hold. If you're short on time and you want a really good bang for buck exercise that has good transfer to muscle ups, the V-up, it won't let you down. To build up your core strength for muscle ups, the ab wheel rollout is one of the undisputed kings of exercises you should be doing. In calisthenics, we're always trying to prevent ourselves from getting into that banana back, arched position, anterior pelvic tilt. That is an absolute sin when it comes to muscle ups, because you're not going to be as powerful if you can't control your core. The ab wheel rollout is essentially a moving plank. All of the cues are the exact same. Ribs down, core engaged, glutes on, posterior pelvic tilt, but you're doing that at a longer lever as you extend the arms and the body in the rollout and trying to return back to the start. I love ab wheel rollouts because there's a ton of progression potential. It's not some gimmicky core exercise that you'll outgrow after a few workouts. You start kneeling, that's tough. Then you can do band assisted rollouts where you're standing and you have a band anchored around you to give you assistance as you extend to that full leverage, fully extended body. Over time, you reduce the band assistance and eventually you'll be doing standing ab wheel rollouts like a boss. Cheers for watching, people. Boom. Here's another Fitness FAQs video to help you keep getting smarter and stronger.